Good morning, everyone. This is part one of Tom Brady's coaches and mentors. And I know I've posted this before, but I want to add my commentary to it. And in part two, I've also added a new clip in there as well. But I apologize if you've seen this before and you're watching it because you're trying to support me. So please know that I'm very, very grateful and I'm doing the best I can with the commentary. I know I'm getting a lot more smoother and a lot better. So thank you so much for all the encouraging words, everyone. Thank you. So in part one of the coaches and mentors clip, I look at his early throwing coach, Tom Martinez, Greg Harden, Brady's sports psychologist, so to speak, during the days when he was at Michigan, and also a little bit of the Michigan Wolverines head coach, Lloyd Carr. Firstly, though, I want to state that Brady's greatest coaches and mentors are his parents. I think where Brady had a lot of obstacles put in his way, he was also very, very blessed to have such amazing parents. Galen Brady, his mum, is very competitive and extremely encouraging. No doubt she's his biggest supporter and would always tell him to shoot for the stars. I mean, to this day, his mum rejects the idea that Brady's slower than everyone else. She supports him and says he runs just as fast as everyone else. And she's not just saying that, she believes that. Now that's absolute complete belief and support in someone. No doubt Brady learnt a lot about toughness and grit from his mum. After all, she fought cancer and won. She beat the hell out of breast cancer. If that's not tough, I don't know what is. And then there's his dad, Tom Brady Sr. Back when Tommy was a kid, his dad would work long hours during the day, but he would always make sure that when he got home, he had plenty of energy and smiles to take Tom Brady to practice every day, whether it be to baseball or football or anything. And you know what the coolest thing is? It's so humbling as well, but I've never heard his parents ever take credit for anything. Not a single thing. I've watched endless amounts of videos. His dad is always passing the credit on to Michigan, to the coaches and teachers there, to Tom Martinez, to the Patriots organization, to Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft, and he's thanking them publicly for how much they've raised his son. It's unbelievable. His parents are so humble and so gracious. It's absolutely beautiful to see, and I always get choked up every time I think about how great his parents are and how wonderful and loving they are to him. And in that part, I think Tom Brady is truly, truly lucky. He may have gone through all that pain of rejection, but God blessed him with the most wonderful, selfless parents. And that's a true testament to why he's such a good guy. He has all the success, and he's not a jerk. You know, he could easily be egotistical, but he doesn't. He just competes hard. He gives everything he has to the game, to the fans, and to his teammates. He's a great father, a great husband, and he does a ton of stuff for his community. And he's an awesome role model to everyone out there. I think if everyone had such great parents, the world would have a lot less problems. In saying all that, this video and the part two of this video is mainly on the coaches and mentors. So this part, I'm going to deal with Tom Martinez, Greg Harden, and a little bit on Lloyd Carr. I will do a separate video paying tribute to Brady's parents down the track because I think they deserve their own video.
By now, most everybody knows his story. 199th pick overall, you know, in the 6th round, and he's the 7th quarterback taken in that draft. And I know that has motivated him with that sort of chip on his shoulder to sort of prove everybody wrong who passed on him, including the 49ers. But now, after 5 Super Bowl wins and in his 9th Super Bowl here, can he possibly still be using that as motivation at all?
I think so, absolutely. You know, that's kind of soldered into his soul that you know, he wasn't worthy enough. And it started even before that. You know, when he was at Michigan, he was the 7th quarterback. When he was at Sarah, he was the backup quarterback on a team that went 0-8, didn't score a touchdown the whole season. and he didn't get into the game once as a quarterback. So I mean, this is not just a slight tweak. This is something that, through his entire athletic career on the football field, he's had a fight for everything he's gotten.
No problem. This will be fun.
It will. So tell me about the relationship with Mr. Martinez. How did it get started? How did you two meet?
I've known him for a very long time. I think when I started getting interested in playing football, originally on my freshman high school team, they had me play middle linebacker, and I was a terrible middle linebacker and the backup quarterback.
Oh, so you're a nasty type then, huh?
I was not nasty. I didn't play much. That was the problem. I wasn't nasty enough. So I could always throw the ball. I had a decent arm, and but I didn't know how to throw the ball because I played baseball. You know, pretty much growing up, we didn't play much football. But once I had kind of played football my freshman year in high school and really loved the game, I thought, man, this game's awesome. And I wanted to be a quarterback, so I had to figure out how to throw the football. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, right up the road, Coach Martinez had a quarterback receiver camp that he would hold in the summertime. He was the coach up at the College of San Mateo.
Now analyze what you're doing now.
Nice.
Short stride.
Yeah.
Left shoulder closed.
Yeah.
Right. Foot down. There. See? When you start missing, look, even from that cheek to that cheek, you're falling.
I'm not for everybody, not everybody's for me.
How did you know Tom was for you and that you were
I
for
didn't.
Tom?
I didn't.
When did you find out?
Probably when he was 16, when he would come back. When I give every player that I wind up coaching a quarter.
You give them a quarter?
I give them a quarter, and I tell them, this quarter is to call me, and call me when you need help. And if you're doing well.
You put the onus on them to call you?
Yes, sir.
Because?
Because I don't think it's my place to interfere with their growth and development. And so I give them a quarter and I say, when you need help, I want and expect you to call me.
And has Tom been calling you?
Yes, he has.
For how many years?
For 21 years.
He always appreciated the students that he had that would continue to follow up with him. And look, you know, like every there's a batting coach in baseball, and there's a golf coach. You know, you got a swing coach, and it's a very mechanical process, the throwing motion. And he really studied it. He really understood it. He really that's where his focus always was on the mechanics of playing quarterback, so that ultimately you can throw the ball accurately with as much velocity, you know, as the potential that you have in your body. I mean, some guys can just rip it. You know, I was always someone that had to work hard at my mechanics so I could throw it really the maximum velocity that I possibly could.
Well, too, when the ball's like, when I do stride in the hallway, the ball is so much deeper.
Yes.
Because all my momentum is,
exactly.
as opposed to this, I'm
Right.
losing 5–10% of the
That's
throw.
right. That's right. It'll shut down at the end.
I'd start throwing, and he'd say, well, this is what you got to do. And 15 minutes later, the ball was coming out much more crisp, spiral, accurate. And it was just those little things that he saw in me that he could correct. And then ultimately, I gained confidence that, man, if I just do it the right way, I can throw like that all the time. And that just, you know, continued to build over the years.
See the balance difference?
Yeah.
That's
Ball thrown in the hallway.
To me, I love to teach or coach anybody who's passionate and committed and wants to excel. Those are, to me, they're thoroughbreds.
there. Nice.
Yeah. I know, a little bit.
Yeah.
And the thing that I believe is that anytime you're throwing anything, if you're throwing a piece of Kleenex in the wastebasket, you have a target. And so the number of balls that a young man in 13 years old throws until he gets to be Tom Brady is probably 1 million. And if you, at every throw you made, had a target, and that's what I do with him. I say left shoulder, right shoulder, nose, forehead,
So wait a minute now. Have you had a bunch of parents calling you because the house is unclean because they're throwing Kleenex and wastebaskets all over the place?
Yeah. Well, if they miss, they better save their money.
Your guys are making it. Huh?
Yeah. If you got it, I mean, if you throw it and you're 8 feet away, you better go out for soccer. You know.
Best deep ball I've ever seen was the one you threw to Randy about 3 years ago.
It had the perfect amount of arc where it wasn't driven, because if it's on that flat angle, it's hard for the receiver to judge. Because he thinks, oh, I've got it, and then the ball just keeps going. The ones that come down, where they're running hard, and then they look up and it comes down here, as opposed to there.
So I understand that you're tech savvy now. You've taken all the notes that you've written from him and you've got them in your BlackBerry now, huh?
I always keep them handy. I have them on my BlackBerry. They're under my little applications, and you know, there's probably like 14 or 15 mechanical points that I always will scroll through. So sometimes when I'm sitting on the bus, you know, going to the game, or I just will look through them and say, okay, that's how my stride needs to be. This is where my right arm needs to be. You know, this is where my shoulder needs to point. So all those things that just continue to reiterate all the lessons that he's taught me over the years. He's a special human being, and he's just been a great friend, you know, to me. But like I said, it's not just the thing that I love is that it's not, hey, he treats me any different than he treated me when I was 12 years old. No, it's the same. He treats me like I was a 12-year-old kid that couldn't figure out the things that he was teaching me, and he gets on me for those things.
Timing down, and you're on the move. You got to get that foot down.
You know, all those students that have been lucky enough to be coached by him really got the same amount of love and coaching and support from him, and I think that's what everybody really appreciates.
How proud are you of that 12-year-old?
Well, the part that I'm most proud of, and I think most people don't know, is that I'm more proud of him as a person, as a man, as a leader. He's a better person than he is a quarterback. And everybody says he's the best quarterback there is.
There were 7 guys on the depth chart when I got there, and it's pretty daunting, you know? You're this California kid going to Michigan.
To make it at Michigan, Brady needed someone to help him unlock and clear his mind. Someone like Michigan's Associate Athletic Director, Greg Harden.
In those days, I talked to every freshman class that came in, looking at the issues of self-defeating attitudes and behaviors, relationship mastery, all kinds of crazy stuff. And then eventually, we were doing giant group therapy, building a team.
Before his sophomore season, Brady met with Harden for a private visit.
It's a rare moment when a kid will show up at my office saying, I need some support. He says, I want to be the starting quarterback at Michigan. And he had just lost 25 pounds from appendicitis. He was the skinniest kid you ever saw in your life, talking about he wanted to be a quarterback at Michigan. It went from there to helping him understand I could not get him a starting job at Michigan. There's nothing I could do about that. My job was to convince him that whether he ever started a game at Michigan, that he's got to be prepared to be the best player on the team. And if he's doing his job to be the absolute best possible competitor on that floor, on that field, period, he'll have a shot.
Brady was considering transferring after he lost the battle for the starting quarterback job to senior Brian Greasy.
People say, gee whiz, you must be really nervous when your kid plays in a Super Bowl. And my response has always been, I was really nervous, just like you're nervous when your 10-year-old kid is up to the plate in baseball, hoping that he gets a hit. You're all in. And things don't change when they've moved on to a higher level of competitive sports, because you're all in at 7 years of age. It's just, that's the role of a parent. You got to be nervous for your kids.
Everyone that wants to leave doesn't want to leave because they made a choice. They chose Michigan, and they want it to work. But not starting breaks your heart. And the fight is, how do you not take it personally? We recruited you, we loved you, and now you're going to go somewhere else where they're going to recruit you, they're going to love you, and it's going to be the same people, the same disposition, the same attitude, and you will have to prove yourself. Prove yourself here. Hey, your job is to fight, don't complain, don't explain. If you want to cry, if you want to whine, you come in my office. But when you walk out this office, nobody is to see you sweat. Because in this world called football, you'll have a chance to be on the field. Will you be ready?
By his junior year, Brady had won the starting job. Still, he continued to meet with Harden.
He was in the office every week. He would show up Friday before a game, every game, and sit and prepare himself mentally. Remember, we're talking about a 20-year-old guy. This guy was hungry to be the best. He was trainable, coachable, and hungry.
We're just tickled that for Tommy, he's had the level of success that he's had, because that was his fondest dream. And to be able to have your son or your daughter, and in my case, the same thing, the highest level of success that you can have, my goodness, it's we're so appreciative and so thankful that this continues to happen.
Brady had people who thought he was too skinny, funny looking, but he was the sort of guy that would do whatever it took to please people, especially authority figures. So he was easy to work with because his respect for authority was something that he capitalized on. He has mastered his insecurities and his fears in brief moments. He has learned to silence the noise and the clutter in order to focus like a laser beam on the task at hand. He was able to wrestle with whatever demons he might have had in pursuit of perfection.
Just 2 years removed from a season-ending knee injury, he became the NFL's first ever unanimous MVP.
My job was to convince him, with or without football, he was going to be great. And once he seized that, there's no limits. I don't think there's any limits that he had after that. I never expected him to be the amazing human highlight reel that he is.
Still holding the football, looking, firing, end zone, touchdown.
But I expected him to be good at everything that he did. Everything.
How much of this success can he take from his father in terms of what attributes did he get from you and his mom?
Well, wait a sec. He's 42 years of age, or 41 years of age, and he was only under our roof for 18 years. So he's, he was just a very young man leaving San Mateo, heading off to Michigan and to New England. And so, frankly, we don't take much credit for it. We're hardworking, and he's hardworking, and that kind of stuff. But he's done this with the help of so many other people that, we're not in the rear view mirror. We're kind of in the side view mirror, but we're not the ones that put him here.
Brady hasn't played at Michigan in over a decade, but the mindset he adopted there while trying to win the starting job remains with him to this day.
I would bring a level of competitiveness to practice for myself, because if I didn't play well, I didn't think I'd be playing on the weekend. So when I come to the Patriots, that's how I treat Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I'm out there at practice today, and it wasn't the best day of practice, And I think, man, I sure hope they're not looking for my replacement after that day of practice. And I always want to feel like I'm the best quarterback for this team. I want to earn it every single day, because I think that's what's going to be best for the team. And if you can't preach that message to your teammates, and you think you're entitled to something, like, you're in the wrong business, and you're going to lose a lot of games. I think you got to get up and earn it every single day.
I only had one call from the NFL. Bobby Greer, who was with the Patriots at the time, talked about they were going to draft a quarterback late. I just said, Bobby, I guarantee you, you will never regret drafting Tom Brady.
I know I didn't have much on Coach Lloyd Carr, and I'm really sorry for that. I couldn't find any clips of him and Brady talking about each other. The only info I got was from the Brady 6 documentary, and it really didn't make Coach Carr look too good, because he kept switching between Brady and Henson when Brady was clearly the better quarterback. It was Brady that was winning the games for the Wolverines. The Wolverines would be losing when Henson was in, and as always, Brady always had to come in and kept bringing them back and mounting a victory. The Michigan players were clearly pushing for Brady to start, so I don't know why Coach Carr couldn't see it. There's rumors out there that because Henson was a very highly recruited two-sport athlete, that there was a lot of pressure on Coach Carr to start Henson. I really, really hope these rumors are false, because sports is supposed to be a meritocracy. If you work hard and you prove yourself, then you deserve the job. The coach's job is to recognize that and be able to pick the players completely free of any other influence or bias. So I don't know why Coach Carr did what he did, but in the end, it all served to fuel Brady even more. And that's it for this video, everyone. I'll have part 2 tomorrow. Thank you so much again for watching. Please like and subscribe for more Tom Brady videos. Bye.